So welcome back. Today we're gonna talk about the pros and cons of living in Calgary, Alberta. We're gonna start with the cons just because the pros are too many and I always just say about the pros. So we're gonna start with the cons just so we end up on a good note. So before we get into the video, my name is Alex Bala. I'm a real estate agent here in Calgary and I get people just like you messaging me every day looking to relocate here, move here. They have questions about Calgary. So if that's you, send me a text, send me a message, and I'll make sure I make this transition as smoothly as possible for you. So with that, we're gonna get into number one. So number one is that Calgary is a resource dependent economy. So 25% of the economy is based on oil and gas. And in 2014, we had a big crash here. So lots of people lost their jobs. Alberta went into recession, but then since then everybody started to shift a bit. The government realized that we can't just keep it on oil and gas. So from 2016, from the point that it started to go up, a few sectors started to get bigger, like the IT sector, the finance sector, the film industry, and all that. So the good news is that we're heading towards a better economy, more round and with different types of jobs. And actually with this we're gonna get into number two, which is the job market. So the job market here is obviously not as big as Toronto or Vancouver because there's less people, less population, right? Obviously it's not that big. It's around 4 to 5 times smaller than there because the population is 4 to 5 times smaller. So I took a few sectors just for example, just so I can show you the difference. And actually if you compare it to how many citizens we have here, how many people we have here, you're gonna understand that we actually have a lot of jobs. And the good part about this is that this is another sidewalk, really cool. So the good part about it is that a lot of people started to work from home, so it's just easier to work in another city, get paid the same, but also have opportunities, better opportunities here, better housing, closer to nature and all that. So number three is that the city is very spread out. So if you want to move here and you don't have a car, I'll suggest you get your driver license and get a car ASAP, especially if you don't live in inner city, like very close to downtown. If you do live there, then you can just get a bus, it's like a streetcar. We have C-Train, and it's very easily accessible to downtown. But if you don't, best option is to get a car, even if it's a cheap car. Insurance is gonna be a little bit cheaper, but not too much. Other options are in the summer you can ride actually an e-bike scooter. We have Bird, it's called, so they're all over the place here. Number four con would be the weather. Okay, everybody thinks that this is Antarctica and you're gonna freeze your bum out, but yes, sometimes it's cold, minus 30, minus 40, but a minus 30 feels like a minus 20 in Toronto, for example, because we don't have wind and we don't have humidity, not too much. It's really dry here. So compared with Toronto, that is very humid and very windy, you're gonna feel that cold in your bones way easier. Another plus here is that we have the Chinooks, which are warm winds that will turn the temperature from minus 30 to 0 in a day. All those Chinooks that are coming, some people are complaining about them because they cause headaches to some people. But I had maybe 1 or 2 headaches from them. It's not a big deal, depending how sensitive you are. So as I mentioned, the climate is very dry here. So the good part is that the cold doesn't feel the same, but the bad part is that your skin and lips are gonna be dry all the time. So invest in a good humidifier if you have problems, and get a cream. Always have a cream on you. Another one on the weather part, the hailstorms. So we have hailstorms here a few times a year, but they're not really that bad. And then every 2-3 years we have one that's gonna destroy your car, destroy your house, and all that. But just gotta be careful. You gotta have the proper insurance for that. So most of the people that contact me that want to see houses, they gonna ask first what size is the garage and if he has a garage, and then how the house looks like. So right now I'm on a back alley just so I can talk on this because it's getting pretty busy on the streets sometimes in the morning. So hailstorms, the biggest one was in 1991 and it was only 30 minutes, but the size of it was like tennis ball size. So this kind of hail can damage or you destroy your car and house, so you gotta be careful. Number 5, we're gonna get into the nightlife. So nightlife here is not the same as Toronto nightlife, obviously, but the day life is way better, if you know what I mean. So if you love partying, clubbing and all that, you won't have the same options here like you have in Toronto. But if you want to be a part of that, big part of that, I suggest you move close to 17th Avenue, which is gonna give you access to a lot of bars, a lot of clubs. Is the popping place to be, right? For young people or even for older people that wanna party and still be out there, you know. Also, another thing I can say about Calgary is that it's landlocked, so it doesn't have access to a beach or anything like that. We have fake beaches that the builders made, but we don't have like beaches like in Ontario and all that, and we don't have too many lakes. Classic me, forgot to record the most important thing. Anyway, we're gonna get back into it. So the pros here, we're gonna start with the pros. The cost of living / buying a home here. So there's no provincial tax in Alberta, so everything that you're gonna buy is gonna be 5% for tax instead of 13% that you have to pay in Ontario or 12% in British Columbia. So it'll reduce your monthly expenses a little bit, to be honest, but it's not a huge difference. So groceries for me honestly cost kind of the same, but this is depending on you where you're gonna shop at, right? So if you shop at health food stores, look at this cool house here. Can't even see it from this angle, but I'm gonna show it to you in a sec. So if you shop at the health food store or everything organic, is gonna cost you around the same because that's expensive all over the place. If you shop at normal stores, it could be a little bit cheaper, right? A big one here would be gas, because we are based on oil and gas, so it's cheaper to get gas here. It's gonna be way cheaper. So if you drive a crazy car, I suggest you come here because your gas is gonna be cut by 25%. So because of the cost of living is very low here compared to GTA and Vancouver, that means the rentals are cheaper and houses are cheaper. And yes, they are. So if you're looking at a $3,000 apartment in Vancouver or Toronto, 2 bedroom, 2 washroom, easily to 3,000, easily 3,000 downtown. You're gonna get here a house that costs you 550,000 for the same budget, the 3,000 a month. Okay, so at least you can own a house and you're not gonna have to rent from others and always pay rent. So that's a big plus for me. So when you buy that house, actually you're not gonna have to pay land transfer tax, zero. Oh, by the way, look at this house. So this is listed for around 1.3 million. It was 1.5, but they lowered it. I have my eyes on this for a while. So you're not gonna pay the land transfer tax, which is zero. You're gonna be saving 1 to 2% on the land transfer tax. So that on 500K, we're talking 5 to 10K saved. So the weather here, we're talking about it already, but I want to mention that it's really different, and you really don't understand how it is until you come here and see for yourself, because the sun is always up, and that's a huge one for me. That's 50% of why I moved here in the first place. So when the sun is up, you're in a good mood, right? You're getting outside, you want to do stuff, you want to meet people, you're energetic, your energy is high, right? You don't have depression, you don't have that sadness in the winter. In Toronto, actually, it gets pretty sad and pretty gloomy. So the sun here is gonna be up for 333 days of the year, which just gives you a better lifestyle, better relationships, which leads to a better, healthy life, right? And probably a longer life. Number 2 would be the Chinooks in this category that we already talked about. Those are some winds that are coming from the Pacific Ocean, like I said. But they just stay for 3 weeks and they are like a mini spring. So it's hot for 3 weeks and then it's cold for 3 weeks. That's what I experienced. Number 3 would be the outdoor activities. The best part about this is that we're very close to Banff. So you can easily plan trips there. In an hour and a bit, you're in Banff, in one of the biggest national parks here. Plus, other than that, Calgary has 52,000 parks, 11,000 playgrounds, and you have a bunch of bike trails. Altogether, there are 1,000-kilometer bike trails. And if you're into walking, we have 150 something walking trails. The biggest park here, which is Nose Hill Park, that is a huge park / hill right in the middle of the city with beautiful views. Look at this house here. I don't even know if you can see it, but pretty good. Scarborough. There's also a river that splits the city in two. It's called the Bow River, and you can do a bunch of activities there: kayaking, fishing, rafting, and so on. Whatever you're into. Swimming. Did I mention swimming? Kind of went over the Banff part too light, but I'll have to say that I'm going to Banff every 2 weeks. So that's a big plus for me. I can just escape there. I can recharge. You can go there, get in touch with nature. You can see there the best mountains in Canada, and you can climb all of them. You can go camp, you can go fishing, you can go biking there. There's a bunch of bike trails. You can do whatever you want related to nature. So with that, we're gonna get into number 4, which is that Calgary is the cleanest city in the world. So Calgary gained its reputation due to minimum air pollution, clean sewer system, safe water. You can just drink from tap. Okay, so on top of this, there are heavy fines for littering, up to $1,000, and major roads are getting cleaned every day. Like 15,000 kilometers of roads, they're cleaned every day. And I'll show you, I see this every day in the spring. They're cleaning the roads. They just put a sign, you have to take all the cars away, and they're gonna clean the road. So also, furthermore, Calgary is the few places in the world without a rat population. So this is thanks to Alberta's excellent rat control program, which has been in place since 1950s. And you're not gonna see a rat here in Calgary. Another fun fact about Calgary is that it's a very young city and the average age is 37 years old. So after all that, let me know in the comments, are you ready to move to Calgary, or at least visit and see what's about?